I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I'm living now in Clacton-upon-Sea in Essex, the UK, in England. And a lot of times, a lot of folks be like, how did you come so far? Why did you come so far? Why'd you move to the UK? I'm making this because I figure, right now with all the craziness that's going on in the States, it's real easy for folk. Well, it's a lot easier now for folk to understand, my position. Now, a lot of times I had a lot of conversations with folks at pubs and all, especially when the George Floyd incident happened. And when you tell folks things, you describe what my life was growing up. I mean, it was just a normal thing. A lot of times folk are like, really? Really? Like, see, for me, every time I got stopped by the police, you just know you visit, you could die. I mean, that was just normal things. So, every time police stop you for any reason, I was away from home from New York for a while. I come back home. There was a new stop and frisk policy, and going to the store for milk, I'm getting a van rolled up on me, 8 cops dumping on my pockets, and, nothing. They didn't find anything in you on your way. So, but that, all right, you make a wrong move, they see, oh, he was reaching for something and that's it, you're out of here. Anytime they want to let you have it, they let you have it. And the standard that what they do is, I was in fear of my life. I saw him reaching for something and that's it. Whoever's mad, protest or what have you, but the rest is the rest. And that's just the way it was, and folk out here were like, really, really, when it's black or brown folk, there's always a question, oh, maybe this, maybe he was that, he shouldn't have done this, he shouldn't have did that, or what have you. And now that they see that the government is telling, white folk that, hey, look, this applies to you too. Now you see it right to your face that it doesn't matter what you see, what you can prove. Only thing that matters is what we can say. Now that the government is saying it directly to your face, folk are finding it very alarming. But for us, this was just a reality of life. And so when I come out here to the UK, I'll tell you what happened. Okay, I was out here, I don't know, a couple of months, and it was the very first time I was driving, had the family in the car, and I got pulled over by a cop. But the reason why I got pulled over, I was driving, look, I'm from New York, okay? And I was in Kingston upon Thames. And, I'm like, sometimes people are very polite on the road. I had to rush somewhere and I pulled out in a certain way and I cut this car off. And I didn't see until I was like in mid movement that I was about to cut off a cop car. But it was already too late. So I finished the maneuver. I cut him off. The lights go on. I'm like, oh, here we go, right? So he comes to the window. He is hot, okay? The cop is like, get out of the car. I'm like, I'm starting to feel the standard nervousness. Like, I normally feel back home, even though I know, hey, these guys don't have guns. I should relax a little bit, but it's just that standard nervousness. He calls me out of the car. The guy rips me a complete new one about the maneuver that I pulled. Why did I cut him off? And the whole thing, and the funniest thing about the whole situation is for the first time in my life, I'm standing there, I'm getting chewed out by an officer. I mean, the guy even took my license, saw the state that it was from, and ripped me one about that he had been there and you can't drive here like you can drive there and the whole thing, you know what I mean? But in the way he was chewing me out, I found myself not wanting to say, yeah, okay, Dad, out of not wanting to piss him off and make him actually write me a ticket. You know what I mean? And that was like, wow. So in the end, he finishes chewing me out. He makes me understand and acknowledge that I understand that you can't drive out here like that and everything. I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Yes, sir. And he's like, get in the car and drive off. I'm like, okay. Now I got in the car and I'm like, almost in half giggles because of how I just got completely torn. Like the dude just totally ripped me a total new one. Like there was other cops coming around. They was kind of giggling. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there, yes sir, yes sir. Got in the car and drove off. And for the first time in my life, I was like, wow. Let me tell you, before I come out here, right, I was like, what kind of cops don't have guns? But I got a brand new respect for the cops that's out here, right? I got a new respect for them. I think folks should have a lot of respect for these guys because, I mean, they throw their bodies in. Look at what happened in London when a guy just, jumped in, threw his body in for his, for the job. And he took a bad one and he died for the line of duty. Meanwhile, we got ones back at home right now that's on trial for being, cowardice and, something's happening. They went and hide and then, a bunch of children, lost their lives because of that. And these, I just think that the cops out here deserve a lot more credit and for the job that they do without, guns at their side, even though I know they're not perfect and folk are upset because of stuff happened as well. But from this American's perspective, I was happy to come to an area, to live in a place where I can get pulled over by the police and not worry about, what we worry about in the States. That's all. So on that note, y'all have a good one.